and they want to split it into two, then it'll be up to the way that the future council and planning puts this thing into effect as to that, yes, they may be able to build 2 houses on that area. So it's not etched in stone, it's a suggestion, it's a goal. One of the things I would like to see is for the future council and administrations to put this thing into place with a kind of a time period for a goal to see if they can hit it. You know, maybe 6 years, maybe 10 years, and then see how much it changes the city, and under that time period then take another look at and see if they have to make some adjustment from there. So this is the way the plans of the master plan was developed in this particular topic.
Okay, thank you, Russ. And that kind of segues nicely into our next question that comes from Bob Slovak of Case Road. And his question is exactly that, about timelines in the master plan document to actually get some of these things implemented. Is there any way that timelines could be incorporated into this document, or is it like a living document?
One of the nice things about this particular document, as opposed to the 97 master plan, is we've deliberately sectioned it out to match council committees. And therefore, council committees, when they don't have anything going on, can actually pull out the pages of the master plan that are applicable to that particular committee, and then they have a vision for the future and something to be proactive. One of the biggest complaints, and I'm guilty of it when I was on council, and Russ has talked about it as well, is our council has just sort of a natural tendency to be reactionary. One of the reasons why we have a natural tendency to be reactionary is the fact that we don't have set subcommittee meetings.
Ladies and gentlemen, the library is now closing. Please move to the front of the building. All materials must be checked out at this time.
For example, if you were to ask me when's the next street, sidewalks, and bridges committee, subcommittee, you can't look that up anywhere. It doesn't exist. The only time the next time streets, sidewalks, and bridges meets is when that chairperson designates it, and they only have to provide a 72-hour window. One of the things that we want council really to do is set established committee meetings. Not every month, because we know the demands on council members are already heavy duty, but that way, like, let's say bi-monthly for streets, sidewalks, and bridges, because everybody's talked about sidewalks and connecting sidewalks in this town for, I don't know, probably 20 plus years. But at the end of the day, the Street, Sidewalks, and Bridges Committee never talks about sidewalks, because they only meet if there's an issue involving a specific bridge or a specific street. So we need to change the whole mindset, which is sort of entrenched back in the 1966 zoning that we had. And we're stuck in that 1966 entrenched zoning, where we're a reactionary council, and we're not a proactive or visionary council. That's why people forgot about or ignored the 97 master plan after time went on. And it's time that we actually have set subcommittee meetings, or committee meetings, where then if there's nothing to talk about, you talk about the future. That's the biggest and most important thing our city has to offer, is the future. So hopefully with the timelines, and with that said, there's things in this master plan that council can do tomorrow. For example, we talk about widening Learnagle Road. Well, change the setbacks tomorrow for all the homes along Learnagle Road so nobody can encroach upon those setbacks, so it's wide enough. So you don't have a Donato's that's now empty encroaching right upon Center Ridge Road. Change the setbacks on all these things from the infrastructure standpoint so that you're already set to go. If you have a new bridge going in and they're talking about doing a 3-lane bridge, man, put the bridge in 4 lanes now so it's ready to go when 4 lanes comes up the time to play. So.
Yeah, Andy's right, and actually most of that is being done or being looked at. Things such as the setbacks. For example, council looked at widening Center Ridge Road, and we passed an ordinance establishing new setbacks on Center Ridge Road for that very reason. But the document is a living document. As I said in my opening remarks, we didn't hire engineering firms or land use planners or lawyers to answer all those questions that always come up. You know, when we did the last master plan, we might have said this area here should be good for low or medium density. But when you went and looked at it, maybe it's all wetlands, you can't do that there. Or you look at another area that says we want special development district mixed use, but questions always come up. We try to put together what we like to see, and when someone comes in and wants to do something different that we find that's not satisfactory, we have a tool now to say, you know, that's not what we really want to see there. Yet if someone comes along with a better idea, we can still do that, you know. So your master plans are never passed as an ordinance and written in concrete. They're always subject to change.
Part two of Mr. Slovak's question is directed towards the business in the city. And his question is, can we really compete with the surrounding cities?
Well,
Businesses?
I think you mean businesses, right? Yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We have, it's always amazing when I go out and visit businesses in the city. It's one of my favorite topics. And it's not unknown for me to just show up at a business, knock on the door and say, I'm the mayor. Who are you and what do you do here? You know, because I find it fascinating. I'll give you some examples of some of the things that you find in North Ridgeville. We talk about wind turbines. If you look at some of these wind turbines at 150, 200 feet in the air, and up on top of this tall pole, you've got these 300-foot wings coming out. That box right there at the top, which is about as big as this whole area, is machined by Call Manufacturing on Sugar Ridge Road. If you go into the grocery store, you see those big bags of popcorn, or you see vending machines with sandwiches in. Those are made in North Ridgeville. We have Frito-Lay distributorships here. Draco, for example, does plastic injection molding, but they're one of the few companies in Northeast Ohio that use a process where they mix metal powder with the plastic. They inject their part, then they subject it to heat and melt the plastic, and they're left with a metal part. We've got all kinds of businesses like that can compete. In fact, Draco's brought 2 businesses back locally from China. So we certainly have the ability to compete and compete globally in North Ridgeville. We're working with a new business right now that's received job tax credits and a $400,000 grant from the state that is, if they can put their financing together, is looking at bringing 200 manufacturing jobs to North Ridgeville that manufacture solar collectors. So, yes, we can compete.
Thank you, Mr. Slovak, for your question. Okay, this is a comment from Ellen on Park Trail about lot sizes. I understand some 1-acre lots. Is it counterproductive? My friends in Westlake with their 500,000 plus homes have less than 1/2 acre. If we really are emphasizing quality of life for all, is there for any reason areas of development should not include a mix of lot sizes, for example, 1/2 to 1 acre, or 1/3 and 1/2 acre, etc.?
I think along with what I said before kind of helps address that. One of the things I'd like to see again is us try for a while to expand with the goal of the 1-acre lot. The one thing that's happened is we've become inundated with small lots and a lot of small housing in our town. And we want to help preserve the value of the housing here and drive it up. One of the things that's happened in the last 2 or 3 years, obviously we know with this recession that has set in that everybody's housing value has dropped. But 2 or 3 years before this housing recession set in, our values in many of our communities here had already started dropping. Why? Because of the houses that were being brought in. We have houses now in this town starting at $120,000. And if you look at, as a majority of the houses that have been brought in lately, and many of the new developments, they're under $170,000. We don't have that structure of other type of housing, so it's time to diversify it. And unfortunately, in a way, this may be a slight way of helping force the diversity to come for a while. And that's where I'd like to see it go on for a while.
Yeah, and just to couch on what Russ said, if you're in Mills Creek, you think your home's probably 200 or 200 plus. If you're in Ward 2 along Ridgeville, you think your home's worth 130 to 200,000. Well, if you can buy a new home off the street for 120, you know, people have a tendency, particularly my generation is guilty of it, they want the new. You know, you're losing your home values throughout the city, so you're basically lowering your entire